Nigerian Christians, in these critical times, who can we trust? Since Nigeria's general elections in 2015, every socio-economic index has plummeted. Several strike actions have impeded productivity and economic growth. Incessant fuel scarcity has led to frustration and agony, and most recently, the scarcity of the newly designed Naira notes has rendered citizens financially paralyzed. However, with all of this weighing down on us, there is an even bigger existential concern for the Nigerian Christian community. Nigeria is one of the most diverse nations in the world, but rather than this becoming our strongest feature, it has become a tragic weakness. The land has been turned into a killing field, watered with the blood of innocents. Churches are constantly bombed by fundamentalists. Worshippers are slaughtered viciously in the house of prayer, and priests and pastors are kidnapped and beheaded in the course of doing the work of God. The age-long dream of a Nigeria where Christians, Muslims, and people of all faith can exist side by side in brotherhood has turned into a nightmare. To fix this great divide that threatens an imminent collapse of our country's structure, we must first start by restructuring. We must stand ready to reintroduce peace, unity, and love in our great nation.
This country needs to be patched together. And it is when we come back together as a country, united and learning to start trusting each other, that our children can have hope of a better country.
On the 25th of February, we go to the polls to elect a new leader, one who will not be held captive by his religious and ethnic loyalties, one who will transcend the narrow path of hate and bigotry, one who will see us all as children of God, worthy of love, respect, and protection.
One thing with about AA Atiku Abubakar is that he's a compassionate person. He's a good listener.
Someone who believes in fairness to all people.
Before I met him, there were a lot of stories about him. He was a very popular person. Was a very popular young custom officer who was known for his generosity, who was known for his humility, who was known for his openness and liberal disposition. I know of his stewards, his cooks for over 20 years that have been with him.
Let me tell you, it's not easy to work with somebody for 35 years. As a young man, and I've never regretted working with him for so long. If I come back in my next world, I wish to work with him again.
Gender, it does not discriminate. Religion, discriminate. I don't think he knows the meaning of discrimination. And I know that he has a physician that has been with him since I don't know how many decades now. Igbo and Christian.
The tribalized man. Because apart from me, the other people also who are his staff from different parts of Nigeria.
He's someone that he doesn't care of your religion. Whatever, the only thing he needs from you, as long as you are doing your job perfectly, he's okay with you.
He is the least tribalistic person ever. Atiku is not tribalistic in any way. All he sees in you is your capacity to deliver.
Someone with patience, compassion, and empathy.
To be forgiven. That's one thing about him. He forgives. We have learned that, those of us who are around him, that this politics is not that of bitterness. He knows how to forgive.
We've learned a lot from him. So it made me to be, always overlook so many things, believing in tomorrow. because he's that kind of person. And that's what I've learned from him as a father.
Someone with a strong vision for Nigeria's future.
The amazing thing was that when I was there at the American University of Nigeria, I met and I saw at least one person from every part of this country that was on his Alhaji Atiku Abubakar scholarship. And we're talking about scholarship that was worth, because if I put together total cost of everything, it should be, by the time I was graduating, it was already worth like 15 million naira.
Someone with the courage to stand against the forces of evil.
When the news broke, about the release, or the escape, first there was an escape, of Chibok girls. When they escaped, he reached out to Professor Maggie Ensign, who was the then president of the university, and somebody who was also very passionate about the girl child, education. And so he expressed his desire, to have them accommodated, to have the Chibok girls, accommodated, in the university. And so a special program was set up. A lot of resources went into it. I mean, skills that were unavailable here, including tutors who had skills for students like the Chibok girls who have been traumatized, and they were brought in. And so a special school, was set up to the extent that today, some of the Chibok girls have finished, secondary school through that special program. They are running a university program. One of them, I think Grace, also had, graduated, working in the university, and a hostel was built specially for the Chibok girls, and named after the late mother of His Excellency Atiku Abubakar, Aisha Kande.
A man whose deep humility and empathy has moved him to invest personal resources in fighting the menace of Boko Haram can surely be counted on to make the war on terror a #1 priority as President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
By the way, a lot of people tried to convince him to choose somebody from his tribe to be his physician. And he didn't tell me, but he told somebody that even if I'm a pope, he will work with me.
When he became vice president, and the move by INEC, or what INEC did, the annulment of our election by INEC, was not just this one volition. There were certain forces that were behind it. And what was it? They wanted a new power arrangement in Adamawa, with me out of that arrangement, But he said, no, it can't happen. There was no any other person in his position that could exercise that kind of power other than him. So he insisted, it could have been otherwise, but he insisted that it has to be me. So this was the kind of stand he took.
Atiku's life, businesses, family, and passions have become so integrated and embedded in every part of Nigeria that it's become disingenuous to ascribe or associate him with acts of sectionalism.
Atiku is, to me, very, very cosmopolitan. I don't know what cosmopolitan means to the world, but what it means to me is that, he is not, sectional. He's not pigeonholed. That's how I see him.
Atiku is a great unifier. He's a detribalized Nigeria.
I'm an Igbo man, a Christian. I've been with him for 24 years and counting. A lot of other people around him are from different parts of Nigeria.
He doesn't see religion or ethnicity, and so he sees Christians as his brothers, hence his utter intolerance of their constant persecution. This is why Christians overwhelmingly threw their support behind him in 2019.
Say one incident that I remember very clearly. A few years ago, like 8 years ago, I came to work. I went for my church first service. So by 9, I was through. So I went into work and I saw him. And he was very upset with me. Why are you not in church? And I'm like, I attended the first service, sir. And he said, so Sunday, you don't really have to come into work today. And I'm like, I'm sorry. I just have 1 or 2 things to do. And I said, no, you can do it tomorrow. He was not happy with me at all that I came in on a Sunday instead of being in church. And what I know is that most of the time in the mornings, I send prayers to him on WhatsApp and he says amen, And 1 or 2 times, maybe when we are discussing, maybe I tell him about my pastor, my church, or something that happened in church, and we laugh over it. And, he's not the kind of person that you say, oh, he's a Muslim, I can't really tell him about church.
Yes, he's Fulani, and a proud Fulani for that matter. His being Fulani has not prevented him from being my friend as an Igbo person. It did not prevent him from marrying a Yoruba woman. Those things don't bother him at all. He looks at the person and the quality of the person and who the person is and deals with you as he sees you.
He means what he says, and he says what he means. Whenever he tells you anything, take it. His truthfulness, his ability to make and keep friends, that is a few things we've learned from him. And his humility. Very humble man, by the way. Very, very humble.
Can Christians still trust Atiku Abubakar in 2023?
Absolutely. It's somebody we can trust. Categorically. In fact, 100%.
Sincerely, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, His Excellency Alhaji Atiku Abubakar is a wonderful man that should be trusted. A man that's, if we have 2 people or 3 like him in Nigeria, I think this country will be a better place for all of us.
To my fellow Christians, men, women, the youth, the widows, everybody, Atiku can be trusted. Please trust him. He will not betray us. Atiku is a good man. He's a kind-hearted man. And he's a man of faith. He believes in prayer. And he believes that God will do it.
Christians have nothing to fear about an Atiku presidency because I am a testimony of his spirit of liberalism, his dispassionate disposition, and his tolerance and accommodation.
There is no southerner that will tell you whether they encountered him directly or not. There is no record. There is no record of Atiku Abubakar not dealing evenly and fairly with Southerners and Christians in his last comment. So he won't change and suddenly become who he is not. We know him, we trust him, and we recommend him to anybody who believes that they love this country and that they want to see this country mend and be on the path of recovery.
For somebody who has trusted you for 24 years, You give him any medicine, you just put this in your mouth. It cannot be. There are very few people who can be better than that.
We have been so battered and traumatized, and God, there's almost no country anymore. And the only man who has the experience, who has the commitment, who has the passion, who will do it for us in this year, 2023, is Atiku Abubakar, Wazirin Adamawa, former Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and the incoming President of Nigeria.
Our vote is our power to secure a future where we have the freedom of faith. A future where we can worship without the fear of intimidation and persecution. A future filled with love, peace, and joy. A future with a man who has always stood by us. A man prepared to protect our beliefs and serve our interests. A man who is never afraid to rebuild and unite. A man we can trust. In these very critical times, we can and we must trust Atiku Abubakar, the man who will truly heal and recover our nation.